Okay, in this video there are two lessons. Lesson number one is how to solve a right triangle where you're given the altitude. Okay, remember the altitude is a straight line from the vertex from the 90-degree angle to the opposite side, and it's a 90 degrees. So this is an altitude. Okay, the best way to do this problem is the following. Let me call this ABC. Doesn't matter what you call it, but it has to be three letters next to each other in the alphabet. Now, if this is 90, I like to use this angle is bigger, so I'm gonna make this 60, and I'm gonna make this 30. Now, it's not really 60 and 30, but I use that to help me. Now, 90 plus 30 plus 60 will be 180. Okay. Now, if I focus on a little triangle, okay, this will be 60. And this will be 90, so this angle right here will be 30. Now if I focus on the medium triangle, this is 30, this is 90, and this will be 60. Okay, I'm using those numbers to help me draw the triangle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the following. There are three triangles. One of them looks like this. And remember, this is 90 degrees. This is a big one, so let's make this 60, and let's make this 30. Now, if you look at the small triangle, I know the following. I know that if from 60 to 30, that'll be x, 60 to 30, that'll be x. And on this triangle, that's all that I know. Now I'm going to draw the medium right triangle. This is a small, this is the medium. So this will be 90, and this will be 60. The big angle is 60, and the little angle is 30 degrees. Now, if you notice on this one, what I know is the only side that I know is this side, and that'll be 16. So from 30 to 90, 30 to 90, that'll be 16. Something I forgot to do right here. If this is 16 and it's 25, what is this right here? Okay. If this is 16 and it's 25, this will be 9. So that 60, 90 is 9. 60, 90 is 9. Okay. Now in this one, that's all that I know. Now let me draw the big triangle. Same thing, I'll draw it facing the same way, 30, 60, 90. This will be the 90, this will be the 60 degree, and this will be 30. Now the big triangle, I know 60 to 30, 60 to, 60 to 90. I'm not at 30 to 90, 60 to 90 is x. Now I know that 60 to 30, from 60 degrees to 30 degrees is 25, so this will be 25. And that's all that I know. Now, this triangle cannot be used, and let me tell you why. I cannot use this triangle because I only have one side. So these I cannot use. Okay, I can only use this. So these are similar because 30, 90, 60. So I can do one fraction is equal to another fraction. A proportion. I like to start with what I'm looking for. I'm looking for x. Now the x on this triangle corresponds to whom over here? 25. Now give me another number that you know right here. I know 9, and that 9 corresponds to x. Okay. Now solve for it. Do the extremes. X times x will give me x squared. Now over here is 9 multiplied by 25. Okay, now I'm looking for x. I'm not looking for the x squared, so I need to get rid of the square. The way I do that is take the square root. The opposite square is square root, so because these are opposites, they will cancel. But what you do to one side, you must do it to the other. So you have x is equal to prime factors of 9. So what I'm doing now, asking you this: what can I multiply to give me 9? Can I use 1 or 9? The answer is 3 and 3. Factor of 3, can I use 1 or 3? You can do it, so those numbers are prime. So 4, 9 will be 3 multiplied by 3. And 25, if you do the same thing, you get 5 multiplied by 5. So the answer is x is equal to, I'm looking for pairs. 3 times 3 is 9. Square root of 9 is 3. Here's another pair. 5 times 5 is 25. Square root of 25 is 5. There's nothing else left in the radical, so there's no more radical. And 3 times 5 will give me 15. So in this particular problem, x is 15. 15. Okay, that's it. Do it. So the key to these problems is you only given 90. Use 30, 60, 90, 30, 60, 90, and all of them. Draw them, and two of the angles will be well. You can use two of the angles because you're given two sides. This one couldn't be used because they only give you one side. Okay. Next example is very similar to the one that I showed you earlier. I'm gonna use they gave me 90, but I'm gonna use 30, 60, 90. Let's make this 30. It's hard to see it because they're about the same size, but I'll make it 30, 60. Now, if this was 90 and this is 30, so this will be 60. Now, if this is 90, the one I'm missing is the 30. And then draw the three triangles. I'm going to draw the small triangle. 90 will be right here. I'm going to draw the medium triangle. 90 will be right here. And then I'm going to draw the big triangle. And this will be 90. Let's make this 16. 16. 16. And this will be 30. This will be 30. And this will be 30. Now on the small triangle, all I know is this side, okay, and that is the 60, 90. 60, 90 will be 36, and that's the only side that I know. Now, oh, actually, I know this side also. I know that 30, 90. 30, 90 is 48. Now the medium triangle. This is the medium triangle. I know the 60, 90. 60, 90 is 48. 60, 90 is 48. And I know that 30, 90. 30, 90 is x. 30, 90 is x. Now, the big triangle, I know that this is 36 plus x. And that's all that I know. So on this one, this triangle will be useless, and the reason why it's useless is they only have one side, so that cannot help. Okay. So now using this, the two triangles will be proportional. I like to start where I'm looking for. I'm looking for x, so I'm gonna put in x. This x corresponds to 48 over here. Now give me another side that you know over here. I know 48. Now who corresponds to 48 over here will be 36. Cross multiply. Extremes will give you 36x. I'm sorry, 36x. And multiply the means, that'll be 48 multiplied by 48. Leave it like that. You know, I don't want to multiply it. I don't want to use a calculator. Now get the x by itself. Divide by 36. Divide by 36. So x is equal to, I don't want to use a calculator, so I want to do the following. Factors of 48 is 6 times 8. Factor of 6 is 2 times 3. And factors of 8 will be 2 times 2 times 2. Repeat the same numbers. 2 times 3. And then 2 times 2 times 2. On the bottom is 36, fraction 36, 6 times 6, 32 times 3, and 2 times 3. Now if you have that same number on top of the bottom, you can cancel it. I can cancel a 2. I can cancel 3. I can cancel a 2. And I can cancel a, missed over here. 2, 3, 2, 2, 2, 2 times 3. This will be a 3. So these will cancel with that. So my answer will be 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16, times 2 is 32, times 2 is 64. So x is 64. Okay, so the key to these problems is redrawing your triangles. Okay, there's 3 of them. There's a small triangle, there is a medium triangle, and there's the overall triangle. Okay, if you draw them, it's just like any other similar triangles problem. Okay, now the next thing I want to teach you is how to use the Pythagorean theorem. And Pythagorean theorem is the following. Let me explain to you what the Pythagorean theorem says. If you have a right triangle, okay, and A, B, C, this is a right triangle. That means right. That means that it's 90 degrees. So this angle is 90 degrees. Okay, that's what we're given. Okay. Now, if you have a right triangle, any side that is right next to this rectangle is a leg. So this will be a leg, and this will also be a leg because it's right next to the rectangle. Okay. Now, if the side is opposite to the right angle, then that part is known as a hypotenuse. Now, the way we name this is the following. Use the angle to name this. So the angle opposite to this side is A. So I'll call this lowercase a. Angles, we use capital letters. Sides, we use lowercase letters a. Okay. Now, what angle is opposite to this side will be B. So we call this lowercase b. Now, the angle opposite to this side is angle C. So this is C. Okay. And then most important what you have to use here is the Pythagorean theorem. And the Pythagorean theorem says the following. Pythagorean theorem. And that one says the following. Okay, Pythagorean theorem says the following. If triangle ABC is a right triangle, if triangle ABC is a right triangle with right angle C, then a square plus b square is equal to c square. Okay, let me finish this. If right triangle ABC, if triangle ABC is a right triangle with right angle C, then a square plus b square is equal to c square. Okay, that is the Pythagorean theorem, and that always works for right triangles. Okay, and the important thing to remember is A and B have to be legs. Okay, A and B have to be the legs, and C has to be the hypotenuse, and these will have to be the hypotenuse. I'm gonna abbreviate hypo. Okay, so A and B have to be the legs, and H has to be the hypotenuse. So now, the way to do the problem at hand is the following. Find the missing side of each triangle, leave your answer in simplest radical form. I explain to you what that means. Okay, so the way I do it is this is my right angle. This side is right next to it, so that I call it a leg. And this side is right next to the right angle, so I call this the leg. Now this is opposite to the right angle, so x will be my hypotenuse. I'm going to abbreviate it. Okay, so I'm going to write the formula. Pythagorean theorem says a squared plus b squared is equal to c squared. A and b have to be the legs, so give me one of the legs. Doesn't matter which one. Let's do 7 squared. The other leg will be 8 squared. And c is the hypotenuse is x squared. 7 squared gives me 49. 8 squared gives me 64, and that's equal to x squared. Now just add them. 4 plus 9 will be 13. 3, carry a 1. 6 plus 4 is 10, plus 1 is 11. Is equal to x squared. Now remember, they asked me to find the x, not to find the x squared, so I need to get rid of the square. The way you do it is you do the opposite. The opposite square is square root, and what you do to one side, you do to the other side. These are opposites, they're going to cancel. So you have this x is equal to, simplest radical form, I think 113 is prime, so the answer will be square root of 113. Now what I mean by simplest radical form, I couldn't show it right here, but let me show you some, let me give an example. Assuming that we had radical 8. How do you show your answer in simplest radical form? You do the following. Factors of 8. Prime factors of 8 will be 2 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 2. 2, 4, 8. Now, when you take in the square, you're looking for pairs. Here are a pair of 2's. 2 times 2 is 4. Square root of 4 will be 2. Now, he doesn't have a pair, so he stays inside the radical. Okay? This is what they mean in simplest radical form. Okay, so what they're saying is do not use a calculator, do not give me the answer in decimal, leave it in simplest radical form, 2 radical 2. Okay, that's what I mean in simplest radical form. I wanted to do that here, but I can't because 113 is prime. Okay, now let me tell you something about Pythagorean theorem. Okay, that is Pythagorean theorem. Now something you should know is the converse. There's a converse of the Pythagorean theorem, and that one says the following. It basically you exchange the if and the then. So you say if, you don't say it's a right triangle, you say if a squared plus b squared is equal to c squared, then triangle ABC is a right triangle with right angle C. Okay, so basically they give you as numbers and ask you would that be a right triangle. Okay, if the way you do it, if this is true, then sorry about the end, then this be true. Okay, and then there's also the triangle right triangle inequalities, and this is what it says. What that means is it's not going to be equal, it's going to be bigger or smaller than. So here's the way to do it. If you have a squared plus b squared c squared. Now if this is smaller, if the hypotenuse is smaller, then the angle will be an obtuse angle. So it's not a right angle, but it's an obtuse angle. Obtuse triangle. What that means is one of the angles is smaller than 90 degrees. Okay, Actually, all of them. Now, the next inequality is the following. If it's not smaller, if the hypotenuse is not smaller, then it has to be larger. So here's what larger, and that is I'm sorry, I messed up right here. It's not obtuse, it is acute. And then this will give you an obtuse triangle. Okay, so on the example that I was looking earlier, they gave me the measurements, and the question is that an obtuse? Okay, say the triangle is acute, obtuse, or right triangle. So here's the way you do it. Okay, just write Pythagorean theorem. I'm going to write a squared plus b squared is equal to c squared. Okay, and I'm sorry, I don't know if it's equal or if it's smaller or what it is, so I'm gonna put a question mark right here. I don't know if it's equal, smaller, or larger. Now, the larger number will be the hypotenuse. Larger number is 10, so this will be 10 squared. Remember, hypotenuse is the larger number. Now, a and b are the legs, doesn't matter. Let's use 9 squared plus 5 radical 3 square, parentheses square. And I don't know if they're equal or larger or smaller. Okay, 9 squared will give you 81. 10 squared will give you 100. Now the way you do 5 radical 3 is this way. If you have 5 radical 3 1 is squared, that means 5 radical 3 multiplied by 5 radical 3. So the way you do it, the radical behaves like an x. Imagine this was 5x times 5x. So first with the coefficient, 5 times 5 will give you 25. I'm going to use this rule. If you have radical a multiplied by radical b, the answer would be radical a multiplied by b. So in this case, be radical 3 multiplied by 3. Now I have 25. Radical 3 times radical 3 is radical 9. Square root of 9 is 3. So now 3 times 25 will give you 75. So this will be 75. And I'm sorry, the answer here is not 10, it's 100. Now, add these numbers. 1 plus 5 will give you 6. 8 times 7 will give you 15. And this will be 100. Now, they're not equal. This will be larger. Okay, so this right here will have to be this greater than that. Now it says that the hypotenuse is smaller, so in this case it will be an acute triangle. Remember, if you have a square plus b square and the hypotenuse is smaller, then you have an acute triangle. If you have a square plus b square, c square, and it does larger, then you're looking at obtuse. Now here's hard to say, hard to see it, but it is the same inequality, the same way through. So you have less than, so the triangle will be acute, and that is the answer. Okay, the only thing you have to be careful is this formula. Remember, I put them in the same radical and just multiply. Okay. Let me make another example.